Welcome back to my channel Into the Oracleverse, where we learn about Oracle SQL, PL SQL, and APEX. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. In this video, we are going to learn about the drag and drop functionality, which I have used in one of my demo videos, which was published a few days earlier. So you would be able to check that demo video by clicking on the eye icon, or else I'll also add it in the description as well. Yeah, so we'll get started. I'll be using one of my blog posts to walk you through this implementation. So with this post or with this particular post, you would be able to implement this particular drag and drop feature in your Oracle Apex environment in less than 20 minutes. So I have all the codes here. I have a set of DDL statements and DML statements, which would be needed to, as a prerequisite, you might have to run it in your environment to have the relevant DB setup ready. So we'll get started. So initially, we need to have a blank page like this, and we do have a blank page like this. So before even implementing it, so I just wanted to walk you through few basic functionalities of this drag and drop. So by default, all the web items would be non-drag, so it won't be draggable. So you would be able to see this cursor when we place on particular item, which won't be dragged. But when we add this particular attribute called draggable, and when we set it to true, so we would be able to see the difference of being able to drag it. So this particular difference is so this particular attribute is what that makes the difference. So now to make containers droppable, so this draggable elements are something that is going to move from one place to another, but it needs a resting place where it can be dropped. So for that, so we need some elements that can be dropped. So to do that or to implement that, so we have to make sure that it has these two events, on drop and on drag over. And yeah, there is an example here, but I like to show a complete example. So this is the complete example, which has a particular item which is draggable from one container to another container, and we would be able to do it the other way around as well. So yeah, this is the actual JavaScript code and the HTML code which would be needed to make a particular item draggable and make a particular container droppable. But over here, you can see the readability is quite messed up. So what, and moreover for enhanced features as well. So I went with this Sortable.js. So with this, now you would be able to see it does the same functionality. So yeah, the code is different, but the end product is the same. And moreover, we'll have some more additional features which you will be able to see at last. So yeah, we would be able to use this particular Sortable.js to make a particular container droppable and also the items present within it as draggable. So with this, we'll get started with actual Apex implementation. So first we'll have to add the Sortable.js library. So this is the library that we are going to use. So I'll copy it and then I'll navigate to my page in my JavaScript file URLs. So I'll be pasting it and I'll click save. So the next step, creating a dashboard region. So I'll copy this particular so I'll have to create a static content region. So I'll come here, body, create region. By default, it will create a static content for me. And then I'll have dashboard. And yeah, I'll have the title as dashboard as well. And I'll paste the HTML code that I copied from my blog. And I'll save it. And yeah, I can run it as well. So we would be able to see an empty region here as provided in the screenshot here. Now we have a particular dashboard region setup where we'll have to populate the swim lanes. So the swim lanes are nothing but the containers that will be present. So yeah, so I am using RESTful data services to fetch data for my swim lanes and as well as for my tasks. So for doing that, for enabling the RESTful data services, so I have the guides link present here. So it was already enabled in my system. Else you would be able to see a particular register schema in ORDS. So by registering your schema in ORDS, so we would be able to see this particular window. So once we see this window, so we'll have to create a particular module within this. So I'll create a module called demo, and this base path is going to be present in the URL. So I'll have it as demos itself for demo purpose. And if it is published, so we'll be able to access it. So it's just to make it accessible. So I'll have it as published as well. And pagination is the amount of records that will be retrieved when we are calling it for a single time. So in this case, I am going with more than with a large amount, since I have a limited number of the pagination elements here. So since I am going to use the status as a droppable column, that since there will be a limited amount of status, so I am going with this 25. And origins allowed. So here we'll be asked to provide which domain should be able to access this. And here we have the optional command. So now I am keeping it open, which means everyone, any domain would be able to fetch data from this particular module. So I'll create this module. Yeah, so the module has been successfully created. And now I'll have to create resource templates. So I'll be clicking on this create template, and then I'll have to provide the URI template. So the URI template that has been created here, first we would be fetching all the swimlane elements, so all the statuses that are present. So there would be a name which would be present. So I'll start with get status. So I'll have to provide it in the URI template, and the priority is 0, it's set as default, and I'll click on create template. So now a template has been created under the module demo. Now I'll create a handler. So this is the method with which we are going to deal with this particular endpoint. So I am going with the get method, which will allow us to get data easily. So yeah, now uh, so I'll be copying this SQL code and I'll be pasting it here. And I can set the pagination size here as well. So I'll still go with 25. Now I have a binding variable here. So considering a particular project management system, it might have a number of projects. To filter out the projects, so I am using a binding variable here. And whenever we use a particular binding variable, we have to make sure that either it is present in the URI template or it should be present in the parameters section as an input. So I haven't provided it in the URI, but there will be a future video which will be made like this. So where we would be able to have this particular binding element in the URI itself. For now, we will be going with a parameter. So to create a parameter, I'll be clicking on add row, and I have all the relevant information covered there. So the project ID is project ID, and I have the same binding variable as well. So here I am using the same thing. So I'll have it as project ID. Access method, it's input. Source type. So now it will have either URI or HTTP header. So I am using HTTP header since I have not provided it in the URI. And now the data type. So this ID I have stored it as integer. So I am providing it as integer. And I can provide optional comments. So yeah, which gives more detail on what exactly that input does. So I'll provide this. And now we have, now I'll click this create handler. Now the handle has been created. So to test it, so we just have to copy it and we'll have to, sorry, uh, yeah, so we'll be able to run it from here. Now, okay, sorry, I have to add the filter, right? So the project ID filter, project ID equal to 1. So I only have project ID 1. So yeah. So now we would be able to see it in the JSON format, the results in the JSON format within items. So this particular response also has few other fields called has more. So since there are only since we have set the pagination value as 25, so it is going to let us know whether there are more data which is present and which is not yet retrieved, and it's also showing us the limit and the offset. So we have fetched the first 25. We are looking into the first 25 elements. So we would be able to skip it by providing an offset in the URI, which we'll look at a later point. And so the count of data is two. To fetch the next value, so we have the other links here, which we won't be going through now. So now I am able to validate that this endpoint is working as expected. I'll copy this. It will be used at a later point. I'll copy this. So now I'll come back here and I look here, rendering swim lanes in dashboard. So now we have the code ready. So here you would be able to see a particular column called code, and it would have some classes present within it. So these classes are something that we will be using in JavaScript. We will be writing the codes in such a way that we are utilizing these classes to identify the swim lane columns, and these ID would be able to we would be using this to identify the status of a particular swim lane. So I have concatenated it in the ID. So handling it, so we'll be looking at a later point. So now we'll come back here, and now I'll copy this code and I'll paste it in the page global, the functions and global variables layer. So yeah, I'll paste it here. And here you would be able to see this, replace this with your URL. So the one that I have copied, so I'll click on Control H. This replace window will open, and now, oh sorry, I'll paste this one. Cool. So now we have the relevant endpoint also present. I'll run it. Initially it was empty. Now we are able to see the three data. So the three columns being populated. And now so we'll have to enhance this because it doesn't look like a container though. So I'll copy this CSS and then I'll paste it in the inline section. And now I'll reload the page again. Now this time it is rendered in a very good way. So we are able to see the height being small because there are no elements present within it. So yeah, now we are in good shape as per the uh, screenshot attached here. So we'll move to the next part. So now we have to populate the tickets that are going to come within this particular container, these swim lanes. So we'll have to create one more resource template. So the name of this would be get tickets. So I'll copy that. Now I'll go to the RESTful services, and now I'll create a new template, resource template, and yeah. So the rest all the settings would remain the same. Now the template has been created, so I'll create a get handler since we are going to fetch data. So yeah, now I'll copy the SQL query present here, and then I'll paste it. Yeah, the pagination size, I'll set it as 25, but ideally considering the real use case, there will be more number of tickets. So there is a future video which I have planned where we'll be looking into a particular retrieving the data when there are more, when we have to. So there I'll be explaining more on how to deal with a particular table or a data set where the amount of data is more. So we'll be looking into it at a later point, but for this demo, so we'll set the pagination as 25. And I have everything ready except for the sprint ID. So I'll have to create a parameter here. So everything is going to be the same as that of the earlier one. So it's the same binding variable, and then access method, it's input, and I am sending it in the HTTP header. The data type, I'm going to send it as integer. I have designed it in such a way that it is taking integer over there. And I'll paste this comment section in the comment section. So this will this doesn't have any functional purposes. It's just for documentation. And we'll create this. So now my get tickets endpoint is also good. So I have sprint ID present in the header. So I'll paste it, but with sprint ID. So this I have you hard coded these values. These values are already present in my DB, so you would be able to see the data when I run it here. So yes, so there are 4 items, and yeah. So here, so similar to the swim lane, so I have a code present here where the ticket number and other things would be, and few classes will be designed in such a way that we will be able to handle it better in JavaScript. So yes, now moving on, we are sure that this endpoint works well in this instance. Now we'll have to utilize it in. Now we have to get the data and display it in the UI. So to do that, I'll copy the updated JavaScript function. So it will have all the new additions needed. And now I'll go to the page designer, and now I'll update the existing JavaScript functions in this section. And similar to the earlier one, so we'll have this replace this with your URL. We have to make sure that we are replacing it with the actual URL. And yeah, so now I'll be running the page directly. So yes, so we have the tasks present populated within this particular swim lane. But now I am not able to move it from one container to another. So now we are able to, so this is how the page should look when it is loading. The UI part, so we'll deal with it later. But functionality wise, so this is how it will be rendered. The movement is something that we'll have to work on further. So we'll move further to the next set of code where now the UI is pretty much the same. Now we have to make sure that the tasks are draggable and the containers are droppable. So to do that, we'll have to add this particular code. So here we'll be running a particular function which is going to create a particular object. So we'll be with the library in place. So it will create a particular, it will convert these elements into these swim lanes into droppable containers, and these elements into draggable elements. So to do that, now below is the updated code. So this is the updated code. I'll copy the updated code and then I'll paste it here, and I'll replace this section with my URL. Yeah, it's the same. So I'll replace it. And now I'll save and run the page. Now I can move the tickets. So I'll show you in console where yeah, so once I am moving it, right, so you'd be able to see the ticket mode being logged here. So that is because of this particular function on end. So what should happen when I completed moving that particular ticket? So this will be used in the next steps to actually update the things, because now we are able to move it, but this particular order, the sequence and the status change won't be preserved as the change hasn't been updated in the DB yet. So now if I refresh the page, it will come back to the earlier part. So now we have to make sure that this change is being committed in the DB. So to do that, now I am using two different, so both are Ajax process. One I am using it from the application process, but we have to, so it is not recommended to use Ajax process at application level. So we'll have to make sure that we are using it at the page level, but just for exploration purpose, now I'll just show you how to create this application process. So yeah, now I'll copy this code anyway. So the name is update ticket status. So I'll go here. I'll have to go to the shared components. And within shared components, I can see the application processes here. So I'll have to click that application process. And now you can see there are nothing. So I'll create one. So I'll paste the name that I have provided. Sequence, we can leave it. So since there is one, so it's fine. So I'll choose it as Ajax callback. So as here, it's also mentioned here, Ajax callback process should be declared at the page level. So whenever possible. And yeah, now I'll move further. Now I'll have to provide the code which I copied earlier. So this particular code is used to update the status of the tickets when it is moved across the swim lanes. So I have one here, and then it's PL SQL and I'll create. And now I'll just run it without any condition. And yeah, so it is created here. Now there should be another process to update the sequence. So I am creating it in a page level Ajax process. I'll copy this. I'll go to the page. So this is how we'll have to do the page level Ajax. So we'll have to go to process, Ajax callback, and we can create a process. So I'll paste that name here, and it is the PL SQL code. And I'll paste the code here. I'll click on validate. So it's got validated. I'll click OK, and then I'll click save. And now I have both the process setup, but still I haven't updated in the JavaScript function to actually utilize these process that were developed. So now we'll have to implement this particular JavaScript. So these are the two functions to update the status and to update the sequence. So we'll be able to see that it uses the apex.server.process method. So yeah. Now, as I have mentioned earlier, so the final update of both status and sequence will happen at the on end part. So this has the entire code, the entire updated code. So I'll copy this and then I'll navigate here and I'll paste it. Now I'll have to replace this with my URL. Yeah. So now I have replaced it with my URL. Now everything is done. So I'll run this. So first let's check if it is updating the status. So I'll move this port to on hold and this one to new. So we have 1324. Now I'll refresh the page and yeah, it is preserved. So 1324. Now we'll test the sequence part. So I'll move this 3 beneath it. So now we have 1234. Refresh it. 1234. So it is preserved. So now I'll just bring it back to the I'll sort it ascending order. Now I'll do final check and it is preserved. So now we have implemented this functionality in a better way, but the UI is still, it's not very appealing. So to enhance it with, oh sorry, this is the earlier CSS. So the final CSS would be at the bottom of this post. Yeah, so I'll copy this code, I'll navigate here and I'll update it. Save and run the page. Yes. So with this, yeah, we have implemented the drag and drop functionality in Oracle Apex. Please feel free to post your comments in the comment section. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this would be beneficial for you. Thank you.